Hey everyone, it's Jason. Today's video we're gonna go over Storytime Chess, which is a interesting way to teach someone how to play chess. Now it does have cartoony pictures and everything, so lots of people are gonna assume this is just for little kids. But although that's maybe the aim at it, it is definitely a way to teach anyone how to play chess. And I've seen this online a couple of times. I was like, dude, I have to pick this up, actually see what's in there, see how it works and everything, because I think it'd be a really cool thing to do. I will have some follow-up videos for some of the expansions. There is a level 2 and a level 3, which will teach strategy and tactics. And they'll have some other different content, but for this video, we're just going to look at what's in the base game. And that's part of the other reason I wanted to do it. I'm not going to go through every single aspect of, I'm not going to read through the entire book or anything, or how to do it, but it'd be very nice to actually just see what's in the set. So this is straight from unboxing. You're going to get 2 baggies with all your chess pieces in it. So you're going to have King Shaky's black chess pieces and King Chomper's white chess pieces. Then, if we go through it, the crux of it after that is we're going to have a booklet, the storybook, which will actually go through and teach you how to play chess. And it's going to have a fun, interactive way to do it. And it says 2 to 4 players. And I'm not really sure how you can have 4-player chess, unless you have team chess, I guess. That's kind of interesting. So, one of the other big things this game also does is it has all these cutouts for all your characters. And this is to kind of help give maybe a little bit more of a visual to help maybe newer people or younger people to maybe remember, as well as follow along with this story. And they're single-sided. On the other side, they're also going to tell you exactly what chess piece they go to, so how they fit in there. So that's kind of neat. Then we have all the pawns, the knights, the rooks. It'll be the same thing on the back. It'll show all those. Then we have some other pieces for the set to be played with. Some pizzas and some gems. And on the other side are the purple and blue. So basically the black and white different pieces. These are things you'll use for in the story. Then the last component is we have the board. Because how can you play chess without a board? So they have a standard chessboard here. With your numbers. Well, I don't think lots of chessboards have the numbers and letters on the side, but they do have them so that while you're playing, you can use the proper diction for how to move spaces around. Now, I don't believe they actually teach this until one of the expansions, but since this is a core set, essentially, you buy this and you buy the expansion to add on to it. That is why. You also kind of need to say, notice you have white and black on the outside for which side's supposed to be on which side. Although it's chess, it doesn't really matter. Then the other side is the story side, which it says story side right there. So it gives you a grass field to play on instead. On the end of the board, so we got the white side. It's going to show you exactly which character to put next to which spot for your pieces. And then it has a line on the outside here for your pawns. And then the other side repeats that with the other characters. And that's just to kind of help you get more familiar. So if we pull out some of our pieces, before we get into the actual workbook, or the storybook part. So they are fairly big, chunky plastic pieces. So you're not going to have to worry about them being fragile or being damaged easy or anything like that. And you can easily tell which pieces are which. And then that's where you get to go through and pop out all the different characters. So if we're playing the black one, we get to match our King Shaky up to the one that looks like that. And then they have a little card holder on there. So I slot him in there, so now this is my king. And then if I'm playing on my black side here, since I have my black side, I can match his picture up with the symbol. So now you can play, I guess, either direction. Like if you're learning, you can play the character facing you, so you can tell who's who, or you could play the other direction. So your opponent could tell either way, I suppose. And then you do that same thing with all the other different characters. So if we take our queen and we match her up, and then she can be on there, and then so on and so forth with all the pawns and everything else. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. But yeah, it's kind of how you do it. And then the white ones will be the same idea. Just, of course, big white pieces. So like after you're done and you've taught someone how to play chess, you can go ahead, put the characters away if you want, and then you can just play chess normally with these pieces. Alright, so then the crux of this is what is actually the storybook. There's 8 stories, 30 games, and chess instructions. Now, in the expansions, they also have some other workbooks and stuff as well. So I'm going to open up one of these really quick just to show you. So if I grab expansion number 2, which is level 2, I do have another storybook, which will add more stories, like it'll continue with strategy of the game versus just basic gameplay. But then they also have these other books. They have a workbook, an activity book, and a coloring book. Now, these 3 here are more aimed towards kids. And the only reason I'm bringing these up is because these are books number 2. Set number 3 has books number 3. So you'll notice that as I pulled out set number 1, I don't have books number 1. If you want them, you have to buy them separately. And as far as I can tell, they're only available through the Storytime Chess official website, StorytimeChess.com, right there. So if you want to get these additional workbooks, you can, but you have to purchase them separately. So after I kind of went through this book, I'll kind of go a quick overview of what those are. So if you are interested, you might want to pick them up to go with this at the same time. You definitely could. But just to note, they don't come included in the box. So if you pick up, sets 1, 2, and 3 like I did, you're going to notice the lack of some other books. Yep, so then here's your table of contents. Of course, I'm not going to go through every single thing in here, but it's going to list out all your different components, of course. And it's going to explain how to do it. So it says, read chapter 1. So after completing chapter 1, the story part, place the story side up. Read how to move. Follow the directions with your character cutouts. It's going to teach you how to move, play each video game using the codes and crowns provided. After you've completely learned that chapter's pieces and moves, move on to the next chapter that introduces a new chess piece. Repeat and reread. Repetition and reading is a key story. So this is an important note for parents and teachers. Before you move to the next chapter, which introduces the next chess piece, repeat your current chapter for about a week or until your child has a firm grasp on how the pieces move and able to move confidently on the board. So this book is wrote to teach children or younger kids how to play. Again, like I said, you could use it as a tool for anyone to learn how to play, but some adults, most adults, if you've played any type of games before, or you played checkers and stuff like that, even growing up, you might be able to knock out some of these in 10 seconds and then move to the next one. You might even be able to just skip this. You could almost skip this one and go right to the other 2 chapters if you want to just learn more strategy and tactics, which is kind of neat. So here it tells a story about King Chomper, the White King. So all about his love for food. I'm not going to go through and read all this, but it's a couple pages long. And that's going to teach you how to move. So this is chapter 1. So basically it's going to say is, he moves 1 step or 1 square per turn. He can move forward, backwards, sideways, or diagonal. So this is just literally wants you to take the piece out, put them on the storyboard, and then it's going to have you move around. So say out loud, do this. Then we go to a mini game. So our first mini game is going to say moving him 1 step at a time. So it wants you to just learn that he can only move 1 space at a time. So you don't want to take him, place all these pizza tokens down, and just go oh, he can go like this. No, what they want you to do is basically be like, he can move one space, eats a pizza. He can move another space, eats a pizza. And it kind of explains all that in here. So it's like, create the path. One square is one step. He moves. You move the square of the pizza token, there's one step away, stays on the square, and you pick up the pizza token and move it from the board. You must take your hand off the chess piece, and leave King Chopper onto his new square. This indicates the move is done. The goal is to pick up all the pizza and make it all the way across. So the idea is to teach someone first playing how the game that the king, who's the piece that's supposed to keep alive, can move one space at a time, and when you move them, you have to take your hand off. So you get his specific movement, and then you go on. Then they have another one where they show that now he can move in all the directions, and you do the same idea. You're supposed to move him to pick up a piece, then move him back to the center, and move on. Now you can see, like, again, if you're teaching some younger kid who's just learning this, never done anything, playing these types of games, this could be a very good learning tool. You're trying to teach an adult. You basically explain to them, like, hey, the king can move any direction. They'll probably get it figured out fairly quickly. And then you get to the third mini game where now you stagger these around the board, and you have him take the time to go to each one to show that he can access any space on the board. It's just going to take time, ideally. So that's basically how that works. And then we jump into chapter 2, has the Black King. Goes to the story, then it's going to have you take the black piece, and basically you're going to do the same idea, except he uses gems. And then he does the same idea. So, this is to teach you that both kings work the same regardless of what side of the board they're on. Then they have you play a game against each other, where now it's to see who can get the pieces faster. So this is kind of an interesting thing, because you'd be like, well, they move the exact same space. They should get them at the same time. But it could be the difference between, one person moving diagonal and one person going left and right several times or around, and how you decide to do different things. It's kind of an interesting dynamic to show that although the pieces move the same, they could end up in different spots or at different paces. And then the next chapter is all about pawns. So then this is explaining how pawns can move again. They can move either one square forward. On their first turn, they can move two, and they can't go backwards. So once you get there, you can't move that. So it's, explaining how, again, just each piece works. Then they have little mini games, moving your characters across the board, then competing with each other, what happens when they're locked. I don't want to go through every single thing, but then you do the bishops, showing how they move. Diagonal, the knights, how the rooks move, bunch of different mini games, how the queens move, which are some of the most important pieces because they can go any direction. And then there's a black queen, of course. We're going to go through hers. And then it says, congratulations, capture the king. It says, now you know all the pieces on the chessboard. Set your chessboard up with all the pieces. Put each piece on a starting square. Each player takes turn one, making one move per turn. White always goes first. Try to capture the other team's king. Whichever player captures the other team wins the game. So all as this book does is it explains how each piece moves, and that's about it. And then here we're going to show up them the workbooks that you can purchase from the store. There's also some sticker sets. And then you have level 2, which will have its own workbooks. And then they didn't have level 3 listed at the time, but the level 3, I believe there's also a level 4 coming out. So yeah, if you're interested in picking this up, that's what you're getting. You're getting a full chess set, you're getting a board, you're getting these little characters to maybe help kids figure out how to play it, and that, but the base set is just teaching you how to move. So it's a little bit of an investment to buy if you already own a chess set, and you could go ahead and just pick up like set 2 and set 3 if you wanted. But the thing is, it's going to keep using these characters throughout the game. So that's, it's an investment to get all 3 of them or all 4 of them. But it's an interesting way to do it. Again, it's aimed at teaching kids. They mentioned for like teaching in school, which wouldn't be a bad idea either. For that type of idea. So then the last thing I want to go over in this video, I do just want to do a quick look through on these workbooks so you can see what they are, and then I will do a follow-up videos going over series or level 2 and level 3. So we have the 3 different books you can get. Again, these are books number 2, so they're like going over stuff that would be in the second set, but the idea of them are, you have a puzzle book, which is kind of the one that's actually interesting to get. It's just going to show you how to, like, this one showing how all the pieces move, but it's going to talk about things learned in the storybook. So, like, in this one, it's going to talk about, like, pawn promotion, how a pawn can become a king, but it's going to ask you questions, and it's going to have you do these little puzzles. So, like, for this one, just saying, you're the white team, it's your turn to move. How many steps will it take the white pawn to make it to the other side of the board and transform? Will the pawn make it before King Shaky, the black king can capture it? And then you'll figure out that puzzle. So that's kind of an interesting idea. And that's how all of these kind of go. And then they have a bunch of different puzzles for, like, doing planning. But just showing the chessboard pieces and it's, asking you questions, have you do little missions to see if you can do them, or little puzzles. Like, here's some what-if things, like some different scenarios. But that's kind of what these are. So the puzzle book is kind of a cool thing to buy because it takes what you've learned from the storybook aspect and lets you apply it outside of just following the simple directions. So I could definitely see picking up. The activity book is, again, probably aimed more at kids because it is very simple stuff, like Lesson A, circle a potato, trace the number 8, write the number 8. I'm going to guess you're probably not, handing this off to an adult and having them do this. Although, there might be someone that might find this fun, like, which one's different? So that didn't seem like it's really aimed at younger kids. Like it says, the age on here is 3. But you get the idea of what the activity book is. I think they only sell them in the 3-pack, which is kind of the downside of it. And then the last one is the coloring workbook, which this, I guess, could be fun for anybody, depending on if they like the color pictures. But it's got a little story in there with the characters, and then you just got to color in all the pictures. Some are a little bit more simple, some are a little bit more detailed. But that's what the 3rd book is. So that's the 3 different books. Again, you can buy these for level 1, or book number 1, to go with the base game. If you like, from the website, I want to say it's about $15. So it's very optional if you want to, because if you're trying to teach it, that workbook is really, looks like it'd be very interesting to have. But, it's probably going to be based on just moving the chess pieces, so I don't know what's in it. But if it's just based on moving the chess pieces and doing stuff like that, it might not be really necessary. Alright, so that's what we have for Storytime Chess, the base game, or level 1. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, check out level 2, level 3. I'll probably just put it in one combined video, since there's now a lot to go over. If you see other games that are similar to this that you're curious about or wondering what's in the box, because that's what I love doing on my channel, showing off all the components, let me know and maybe I can try and check them out for you. See you guys later. Bye.